name is Amy Symons and I am here to do your next workshop for Creative Fest. I hope you guys are enjoying all the amazing content that's been on the Creation Fest social media this month. It's been amazing to try lots of different things, and today is a chance for you to pick up that dusty old guitar and give it a go at playing a few songs. So that is what I'm here to do today, is to just teach you some really basic chords on the guitar, and that will enable you to play hundreds of songs. Because there are, if you know 4 chords on guitar, you can play so many songs, it's great. And what better time to do it than in lockdown when we've got tons of spare time. So first things first, you need a guitar. Doesn't matter if it's old, that's okay. And you also need a plectrum. You can get these from any music shops if they're open in your area. If not, there's plenty of places online that sell them, and you can just buy a pack of them and they'll be really useful to you. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to teach you is the guitar string names. So you've got 6 strings on an acoustic guitar, and each of these strings has a name, okay? Well, it's kind of a name, it's more just a letter actually. So you've got your top string is E, it's your bassiest string. Your second string is A. Sorry about that. Third string is D. Fourth string is G. Fifth string is B, and your final string, your 6th string, is also E. So it's nice and easy to remember. Both your top and your bottom strings are E, okay? And quite often people come up with different sayings to try and remember this. So a popular one that I use is elephants and donkeys grow big ears. I know it's a little random, but it really stays in your mind. So those are your string names. So take some time just to get familiar with those. It's really helpful for when you're wanting to learn your chords and your scales and everything else, that you know which strings are which. Next thing is you need to make sure your guitar is in tune because things sound so much better when the guitars are in tune. So I want to recommend to you an app that I use. It's free to download and it's making nice pinging noises at the moment. So this app is called, you might be able to see this, it's called Guitar Tuner, but it's spelled as in tuna the fish. A little strange, but it works really well. So basically what you have on this tuning app is you have the top of the guitar, so you can see, and you can see you've got all the string names. So you've got E, A, D, G, B, E, and you can basically go through and play your string and it will tell you if it's in tune or not. So let's just have a little go together. So if you grab your guitar, we're going to try and do the top string first. So your E string, your bassy string, want to make sure it's in tune. I'm just going to take this guitar slightly out of tune just so you guys can kind of see how it's best to tune it. Okay, so what you should see on the app is the center point of the app will go one of 2 ways. So if it goes to the left hand side when you're looking at the screen, it means that the note is flat. So that basically means it's too low. And if it goes to the right hand side, it means it's sharp, which means it's too high. And you want to get that point right in the center, and that means your string is in tune. Okay, so if we go for the E chord first, on my screen it's to the right, so it's too high at the moment, so it's too sharp. So we're going to twist it. And when you hear that little ding, that means that it is in tune. Hopefully you can hear that if I turn this up. That means your string is in tune. So we move on to the next one, our A string. So that is flat, it's too low. So we want to turn it up. And there we go, we're in tune. Moving on to our D string. It's too low, so we're going to turn it up. Great, so why don't you have a go with the rest of your guitar, the bottom 3 strings, see if you can make sure they're in tune. Something to remember when you're doing this is you want to make sure that you do it slowly. So when you're turning the little strings at the end, you want to make sure you do it very slowly and very gently, because you don't want to snap a string. I've been there and done that many a time. In fact, my first guitar I got for Christmas, I was so excited about it that the next day, on Boxing Day, I went to tune it. I thought it was really cool. I was going to be able to tune my guitar, snapped a string straight away. All the music shops were shut for Christmas time, so I couldn't get any new strings until the next year. So I was really disappointed. So don't make that mistake. Make sure you tune it slowly and gently. So why don't you give that a go now, and then we'll jump back in and hopefully your guitars will be in tune. Okay, so I should have told you this before you went on to string the rest of your guitar. This is really important. So you need to know which string is related to which key at the end. Okay, so your top string, your E string, is going to be this first one here. As you go down in string, you're going to move across to the left. Your A string is the second one. Your D string is the third one. And then when you move down to your G, you're going to go round your guitar. Furthest one away is your G string. B is your second one, and then your one close to is your E. So make sure you turn the right ones with the right string, else you're going to get your guitars completely out of tune. But give that a go. Remember to be gentle, and then we'll jump back in a second. Okay, so hopefully your guitar is sounding lovely and in tune. It should sound like this, which doesn't sound too great until you add a chord to it. But you want to make sure it's a nice sounding sound, whatever that's the right thing. You want to make sure it sounds nice. And so make sure you're in tune and just take your time with that. Okay, we're going to move on. So I want to teach you guys just certain parts of this guitar so you know what they are. So these here, this here is the guitar neck, okay? And then these points here are called the guitar frets. Okay, so if I say, when we're making a chord a bit later on in this video, I might say, in fret 3, this is where your fingers will be. So you need to remember which fret is which. So you start from the bottom, you've got fret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on up the guitar neck. Okay, and then you've also got your sound hole here. So when you're playing your chords and when you're playing things with your guitar, you want to make sure that your hand is hovering right over this point, okay? So for example, you want to make sure that all the sound can come out of that space rather than playing up here, okay? So make sure that you go over the sound bar here. So that is the basics of what is all of this, what's the guitar. So as long as you can remember that these are your frets, that will really help you. So before we jump into some chords, I just want to teach you your finger or numbers or names, whatever you'd like to call them, so that when we're building our chords, you know which fingers are going to go in which points. Okay, so your index finger is going to be number 1, your middle finger is number 2, your ring finger is number 3, and your pinky is number 4. So when we're making chords, just remember 1, 2, 3, 4, and obviously your hand is going to be this way. So remember 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first chord that I'm going to teach you is called a C major chord. So this is one of those chords that you just seem to start with most instruments. And so let's jump into learning that C major chord. Okay, so your C major chord, you're going to need 3 fingers for this one, and you're going to be spread across 3 of your guitar frets. So you want to get your first finger, which is this one here, and you are going to put it on your B string, which is second from the bottom, and you're going to put it on fret 1. So hopefully, if I'm able to edit this together well with this video, you should be able to see a close-up of my hand now. So you can see that your first finger is on that B string, and it should sound a little bit like this. Okay, your next finger, so your second finger, you want to put on your D string on your second fret, okay? And again, it should sound a bit like this. So make sure you just have a look at the hand, make sure your hand is the same. And then your third finger, you want to put on your A string on your third fret, and it should sound like that. So you've got a little bit of a stretch within your fingers, but the more that you play guitar and the more that you practice, the more it will become easier on your hand. So if you've got your chord, you've got your 3 fingers in place, they're spread across your 3 frets, that should sound a little bit like this. And that is your C major chord. So congratulations, you have learnt your first ever guitar chord. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Amazing. So why don't you, if you want to pause this video, you can, and just take a little bit of time to just make sure your finger's in the right place and just that you're happy with the sound. You want to make sure that you've got a really nice clear sound with the guitar. So you don't want it to sound like that. You want it to sound really clear so you can hear every string. So something that you need to do when you're playing each of your guitar chords is make sure you've got a nice bend within your fingers. You want to make sure that your fingers are not straight like this, because that's going to just mute all of the sound in your guitar. So you want to make sure you've got a lovely bend in each of your fingers there. So you should have a nice clear chord there. Amazing. So let's move on to our next chord. Okay, so our next chord I think is one of the simplest chords to play on the acoustic guitar. So this chord is a minor chord. So basically, if you have no idea about anything to do with music, you have majors and you have minors. Your major chords are the happy and the fun sort of chords that sound really happy, like this. So they're sort of quite nice and bright and happy. And then you've got your minor chords, which sound quite sad and quite miserable. So you've got for example, a couple of these are minor chords. So just a bit more sort of moody sounding. But we're going to learn one of these because they're really important and they're in every single song. You have a bit of major and minor in each. So this next chord is called E minor, and all you need is your 2 fingers, so your fingers in the middle, so number 2 and number 3, and they're going to be both on fret 2, okay, so that's this one here. You're going to put them together, they're like they're best friends, so they need to stay together, and you're going to put them on your 2nd and your 3rd string, so your A string and your D string. You're going to place them together like this. That's it, and then it should sound a little bit like this. So quite moody, but nice. Okay, so that is your E minor chord. So let's just go through what we've done so far. So we have the C chord spread across your 3 frets with your 3 fingers. And then we have your E minor chord, which is your two buddies in the middle. They're going to be together on the 2nd fret. You've got a nice moody chord sounding there. Amazing, so you're 2 chords in, 2 chords to go, and you're going to be able to play so many songs once you get the hang of these. Okay, so our 3rd chord I'm going to teach you is a D chord. This again is a D major chord, so it's quite bright, it's quite happy. And so we're going to use 3 fingers again, so fingers 1, 2 and 3. You'll notice that in lots of beginning sort of guitar chords, you don't use your 4th finger much. But you will do as you kind of progress, and it's not the funnest finger to use because it's not the strongest, but you'll get there. So your D major chord, you are going to use finger 1 is going to be on your G string, and it's going to be on the 2nd fret, okay? So if you just place your finger there, that's it, and then your 2nd finger is going to be on your bottom, your high E string on the 2nd fret. I know it sounds a bit strange at the moment, but when you put it together, it will sound nice. And then your 3rd finger is going to be on your 3rd fret on the B string. Okay, so you should have this sort of shape. It's almost like a little bit of a triangle with your fingers. And you just, when you're playing this chord, you just want to try and play the bottom 4 strings of the guitar. Okay, so you can go from sort of your D string below, and it should sound a little bit like this. So it's really bright, really happy. So give that a go, pause this video and see if you can just get the hang of that D chord there. Amazing, you guys are doing great job, so good. So you're 3 chords in, 1 chord to go, and this final chord is called a G major chord, okay? So far we have learned our C chord, our E minor chord, and our D chord, okay? So this 4th chord is a G chord, it's major, so again it's a happy chord, and this time you are going to use your 3 fingers again, okay? So you've got your 1st finger, your 2nd finger, and your 3rd finger. Okay, so your 1st finger is going to be on fret 2, so your 2nd fret, and you're going to go onto your A string, so your 2nd string. So it should sound like that if you give it a little play. And then your 2nd finger is going to go on your 3rd fret on the E string, so the string at the top. Okay, and then you've got to stretch your 3rd finger down right to the bottom E string, like that. Okay, so that is the sort of shape that you want to go for. Okay, and once you've got that, again, remember that your fingers have got a really nice curve to them. You don't want them to be straight and you don't want them to be tense because it's just not going to sound as good as it could. Okay, so once you've got this sort of placement, give it a little strum and it should sound really nice. Amazing, so that is your 4 guitar chords and you're going to be able to play so many songs, okay? So let's just run over what we've learned so far, so you guys can just make sure that you know it all and that you're happy. So just a reminder, we've got our string names: elephants and donkeys grow big ears. So we've got E, A, D, oops, sorry, that was wrong, wasn't it? E, A, D, G, B, E, okay? And then a reminder that when we're tuning, our E string goes to the 1st key, A string on the second key, D string on the third key, and then we're going to move all the way down to do our G string on the third key, our B string on the second key, and our bottom E string, our high one on the bottom key there, okay? And then we've also got our fretboards, okay, or not our fretboards, our frets. And so these are for your hand placement for your chords. And then we'll just run through these chords really quickly so you've got the hang of them. So we have your C chord, should sound like that. So remember, you've got your 3 fingers across. You've got your E minor chord, so your sad, your moody chord, should sound a bit like that. And then you have got your D chord. You play your bottom 4 strings, should sound really bright and happy. And finally you've got your G chord. There we go, amazing, so good. Great job. So you have your 4 chords and you have learnt those in 20 minutes. Really, really good job. I encourage you to keep practicing those. The more you practice them, the easier they will get. And also, I know that your fingers are probably a little bit sore if you've never played the guitar before. That's very normal, and they will become a little bit tougher on the edges, and so they won't be so difficult to play the more you do it. And I'm going to attach a list of songs just in the link below here, hopefully in the bio, of just tons of songs that you can have a go at with those 4 simple chords. And you can kind of pick and choose which songs you prefer to just have a little go at home. But I just encourage you to keep going. It's so good to learn an instrument, and it's just so many benefits to it. And if you are interested in learning the guitar more, there are going to be more tutorial videos on my music Facebook and Instagram page. So if you just search for Amy Symons Music, hopefully it should come up here as well. There is going to be tons more, so if you want to keep learning, please feel free to send me a message and I can kind of send you some more info. But it's been great to be with you guys. I really have had fun, and I hope this has been helpful to you, and it's just something to keep you busy in lockdown and learning new things. So happy practicing, happy learning, see you guys soon, bye.